Welcome everyone to my talk, Navigating Your New Tech Role. My name is Beatrice, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm a software engineer. And in this talk, I aim to provide tips on how to navigate your new tech role. These tips are mainly aimed at junior engineers. However, if there's anyone in the audience who comes from a different technical role or in a more senior role, you can also benefit from these tips. Also, throughout the talk, feel free to tweet me at builtbyb, or alternatively, you can scan the QR code on the slide, which takes you to my Twitter profile. And also, don't forget to use hashtag codebarfestival to share your own tips on how you navigate in your new tech role. So let's jump right in. Firstly, I want to say congratulations to anyone who has started a new tech role or will start a new tech role in the future. You've successfully gotten your new role in the tech industry. All your hard work has paid off. Getting that new role, especially if it's your first role, is always the hardest part. But you might be wondering, how do I navigate in my new role to ensure that I'm successful? So here's my first tip. Get to know your team. The first weeks is a great opportunity to meet with your teammates. Set up individual one-to-ones with all your team members to get to know them on a personal and professional level. This can be done remotely or in person. If setting up individual one-to-ones sounds or feels daunting, ask your manager to set up a welcome to the team meeting. This is an excellent way to meet everyone in your team and can be done remotely or in person. Building a good rapport with your team is an excellent way to build your collaboration skills once you start working with them. My next tip is network within your company. Networking within your company is an excellent way to meet people outside of your team and also build your personal brand at your company. As tech companies adopt hybrid and remote working, this has opened up the opportunity to build a wider network, especially if you work in a big global company. So here are some ways to network in person. So if you're working in the office, maybe attending some company social events is an excellent way to network. A more informal way to network is maybe striking up a conversation with people you see regularly in the office. Don't be afraid to strike up conversations when you go to get a snack or get some water. But if that feels slightly daunting, maybe just striking up a good morning or hello when you see like familiar faces around the office, and then build up the courage to have like a full-blown conversation. There's also opportunities to network remotely. If you've joined the company remotely, networking across the company can be done too. So if your company uses a messaging app for businesses like Slack, ask your manager if there's any in-app tools that pair you with people across the company. Also, see if there are any non-related work channels or groups based on your hobbies and interests. For example, video games, anime, and even arts and crafts. Another way to meet people within your company, remotely or in person, is joining an employee resource group, also known as ERGs. Employee resource groups are groups of employees who join together in the workplace based on their shared characteristics or life experiences. ERGs are generally based on providing support, enhancing career development, and contributing to personal development in the work environment. ERGs are also excellent for meeting new people and networking. So some example of ERGs are a women's network, a network for Black people, an LGBTQA network, and maybe a network for working parents. So see if your company has any ERG groups that you can join. Alternatively, you can discuss with your manager and see if you can create a new ERG group within your company. So as you can see, networking allows you to learn about new events, career opportunities, and also meet new people. So the next few tips I want to share will help you work successfully within your team and help you develop yourself. So my next tip is pair program with other developers. I would highly recommend this to junior engineers as navigating a new code base can be daunting. Pairing with other developers is an excellent way to build and learn a new code base and ease you into your team and company. It's an excellent way to develop your collaboration and communication skills. Pair programming is also an excellent way to help you unblock you on a task you're currently completing. Also, use pair programming as an opportunity to learn from other developers, but also to share knowledge, which kind of leads me on to my next point. So, fail fast. As previously mentioned, you will be pairing with other developers who can help you out. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Failure is not the be-all or end-all. Failing fast takes the stigma away out of the word failure. By failing quickly, you can gain feedback and gain knowledge from a failed attempt. Once you've made a mistake or you need help, this is an opportunity to learn from others. So my next tip would be to learn when to ask for help. When you start your new role, you will not know all the answers and you're not supposed to. Asking for help does not mean you are an imposter or you cannot do your role. So you might be wondering when should you ask for help? So let me share some tips on when you should ask for help. So if you are completely unsure how to start a task or the task is unclear, you should probably reach out to your team members to get help on how to start the task or either to clarify your current task. Or if you're starting the task yourself and you want to make an attempt of maybe solving the task, time box yourself. Time boxing is when you allocate a fixed amount of time on a task. I would recommend time boxing your efforts for roughly about an hour to an hour and 30 minutes. After that time is up and you're still stuck, reach out to your team members for help. This, funny enough, kind of links in with my next tip, which is learn how to ask for help. So if you're in the office, getting someone to help you can be as simple as finding your team members and pair programming together. However, if you're working remotely, learning how to ask for help in a concise way moves you closer to being unblocked. So here are some tips on how to ask for help. Be specific about your problem. What were you expecting and what happened? Share your code. Sharing your code is useful for other developers so they can help you. Push your code to public repository websites such as GitHub or GitLab. This is normally where different code bases live and what companies usually use. Alternatively, you can copy and paste code in your work messaging app such as Slack. And what have you already tried? When you're messaging your team members in your work messaging app, it might be a good thing to tell them that you are attempting the task and tell them, for example, what you've already tried. This allows other developers to avoid suggesting something you already tried. And it allows developers to provide you useful suggestions and guide you in the right direction. Getting help from other developers actually helps you learn different ways to solve a task in the future. So I want to say, remember your team is there to support your growth, learning and development. So once you've finished paired programming with other developers and you've got a solution working, my next tip would be to stay curious and ask questions. Asking for help can be scary, but asking questions can be even scarier. But part of being a developer is learning from your mistakes. If you've asked for help, ask the other developer to explain what the problem was. Consider asking if there are any resources they would recommend for further reading to help you out in the future if you ever encounter this problem ever again. This helps you develop your skills and deepens your understanding. Also, I'd really advocate for asking questions in general, for example, when you're conducting code reviews or in general when you're in meetings. Questions are a good way to reinforce your knowledge and challenge how things have been done previously. As the newest team member, you are completely new to the environment and your input really does matter. So my next tip would be document your success. So between meeting new people and learning code bases, it can be easy to forget what you've achieved over a short amount of time. Get into the habit of creating a brag document. A brag list allows you to track your accomplishments and celebrate your successes. This is a useful document and can help you when it's performance review with your managers. Also, by creating a brag list, you can also identify whether you want to share your knowledge to other people by giving maybe tech talks within your company or outside of your company, or either you can find maybe areas that you need to improve on. So once you maybe identify areas that you need to improve on, my next tip would be to set yourself some SMART goals. One of the amazing things about being a developer is there are so many different paths, so many new technologies that are emerging. For example, you could be a front-end engineer, but then you might pivot to back-end. You might be interested in data science. The possibilities are endless. But it's actually really important to have clear goals which help you improve and develop your skills. Setting goals give you a long-term vision and short-term motivation. It helps you to organize your time and learning. When setting goals, it's important to make them SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. SMART goals ensure that your goal is attainable within a certain time frame. So during your one-to-one with your managers, discuss areas that you could potentially develop on and set some SMART goals. I would advise having no more than 4 goals, but bear in mind your goals are not set in stone. Regularly assess your goals and adapt as you see fit. So once you have some goals, I would highly recommend finding a mentor. A mentor can help you stay on track, help you achieve your goals, and even possibly help you create and set your own goals. Mentors are really useful as they can help you create a career path and they can assist you growing professionally. Also, as the newest team member to the company, your mentors can help you connect and grow a professional network, allowing you to connect with other people in the company. They can also provide useful advice when you need support at work, development guidance, and also resources they've used in the past that they have found useful. Mentors can also help you create a good work-life balance as a developer, which leads to my next tip. Have non-coding hobbies. It's excellent to have an online presence, but don't feel pressure to blog every learning project, to have multiple side projects, and to keep up to date and learn every latest technology that comes out. From my personal experience, this has led to being burnt out very quickly. My past and present mentors have advocated having non-coding hobbies and encourage having a good work-life balance. So to avoid being burnt out regularly, pick up some new hobbies. So for example, some hobbies I have are going to the gym, joining a dance class, or joining a book club. Try to choose hobbies that force you to be away from your laptop, as it gives you a break from staring at your screen. And I just want to clarify, if you do want to keep up with the latest technologies or blog, that is great. But find a happy medium to ensure that you're not burning out quickly. For example, if you want to keep up to date with the latest technology, you can subscribe to YouTube channels or newsletters or even read blogs, which allow you to digest information in a short amount of time. So for example, I regularly read Smashing Magazine or Stack Overflow.blog. That just keeps me up to date with what's going on with the industry. Another alternative is attending conferences like Codebar, and even attending conferences which focus on tech stacks or certain technologies. For example, two technologies that I'm interested in learning about is one called Next.js and one called Gatsby. They host annual conferences, and as a result, I might attend live conferences or even watch the video on demand which gives me the opportunity to learn in my own time. So now you have some tips on how to be successful in your new role, but what if your new job isn't for you? I think everyone will go through this feeling at least once in their tech career. Deciding whether to leave your job, especially your first tech role, can be the hardest. So here are some tips I want to share with you. So the first tip would be to reflect and assess your current situation. So take some time to kind of understand how you're feeling. It's good to ask yourself questions about your role and then maybe make the decision whether it's time to move on. So these are some questions you could ask yourself. Are you constantly burnt out? Is the high level of stress making you unwell? Do you feel alienated because you might be different from your team? Do you dread going to work or signing into work on a daily basis? Do you feel like you're not supported by your team or manager? Do you feel like there's no development opportunities? And is your job compromising your mental health? These list of questions are not exhaustive, but they can help you decide whether it's time to look for a new role. If you're still uncertain, my next tip would be to network and join tech companies. This is a good opportunity to meet other developers and express how you've been feeling about your role. Many developers can provide good advice and can also help you decide whether it's time to look for a new job. Networking and joining tech communities outside of work is also an excellent way to make friends in the industry and find new job opportunities. Through networking, you can also find a mentor that's outside of your company who can assist you with learning how to do coding interviews and also revamping your CV. So by networking with people outside of your company, you can start to identify what you want next from your job. So this is a really good tip that I tell people. So make a list of things that are missing in your current job. Use that list to make a checklist of what you want from your new role. This allows you to tailor your job search to ensure you can find the right role for you. Also, with that checklist, you can create questions that you can ask the employer at the end of the interview. For example, your current role has no learning or development opportunities and a poor work-life balance. You know when you're searching for a new job or another job, a good work-life balance and a lot of learning development opportunities on your checklist. You apply for a job and you get through to the interview round. At the end of an interview, when they ask you, do you have any questions, you can ask questions that are tailored around your checklist. So for example, if knowing whether there's good learning development opportunities and work-life balance is on your checklist, some questions you could ask are, what training programs are available to your employees? What opportunities are there for employees to upskill? And maybe for work-life balance, what does your company do to help its employees maintain a good work-life balance? And this leads to my final tip of the talk. Apply to that job. Don't be afraid to apply for job roles, even if you have some of the requirements. And honestly, you might be surprised you could get the job role even if you don't have all the requirements. And even if you get rejected from the job application, ask for feedback after the job interview. Use the feedback to prepare for your next job interview. And if you're still worried, a phrase and book I love and live by is feel the fear and do it anyway. Whenever I struggle to make decisions in my life, I remind myself of that quote and reread the book. This book has helped me step out of my comfort zone and apply to job roles that I didn't even feel I had the requirements for. So feel the fear and apply to that job. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I hope you've learned some new tips that you can apply to your new job role and help you be successful in your role. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at BuiltByB. And if you have any questions, you can send me a DM. I'm always happy to help out as much as possible. Alternatively, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, which is Beatrice O. Alternatively, you can scan the 2 QR codes that are on this presentation slide, which will take you directly to my Twitter page or my LinkedIn page.